Hi, it's me again, Marlon. Today, I'll be teaching you and sharing you some tips how to checkmate using queen and rook. Let's do it. So here in this position, we have king versus queen, king and rook. This is very easy kind of checkmate, as what we're gonna do is the ladder, as we call it. So here, the rook on g2 is guarding the second rank, which means this king is not allowed to go here. And all we have to do is just put this queen on the third rank. And now the queen is attacking the third rank, and the rook is guarding the second rank, which means this king can't go in second rank and can't stay in the third rank. So he's forced to go to the fourth rank. So any of this move, the king can go. Now, again, the rook guarding second rank. The queen guarding the third rank. We need someone to attack the fourth rank. Who is it? We're gonna be using the one who's doing nothing right now. Aside from the king, of course. Who is it? It's the rook. Why? Because the king is moving one square, right? So, no need for the rook on the second rank. We will put this rook to the fourth rank. Check. And again, the king can't go down, can't stay in number 4, and forced to go up in number 5. Now, maybe here after king c5, queen h5. Rook is guarding. Nope, can't go down. Queen is attacking the 5th rank. King can't stay, forced to go in number 6 or 6th rank. Now, it's the rook's turn. Rook g6. Attacking number 6. Queen is guarding number 5, so the king can't go down, can't stay, and again goes up. Then, queen goes on h7. Again, the rook guarding number 6. Very easy. So, number 7, and then just go up. Then, anyway. And then rook goes on g8 and ends the game. Check. Can't go down in number 7 and can't stay in number 8. This is what we call a ladder type of check. Let's see next. So we have the rank style of checkmating using the ladder, and we can do it also the same in files. Here, queen on b1 is not allowing the king to go in the b file. So, same as the ranks. So attack the c file. King can't go in letter b or b file. Cannot stay in letter c or c file. Forced to go b file. Now, rook is guarding the c file, which means you don't want the king to go back. So, queen goes on d1, controlling the d file and c file by the rook. Now, king will just go somewhere in letter e, maybe king e3. Then, queen is guarded. So it means it's the rook's turn. Rook goes here. Then, can't go in letter D, can't stay in letter E. Cannot capture, by the way, it's protected, if you forget. So, king f3. Then, queen f1. Same story, can't go in letter E, there's a rook, and it's protected. Can't stay in letter F, there's the queen guarding. So, forced to go to letter G. And then, rook g2, can't go, can't capture, can't stay. And then queen h1 ends the game because it's a check and the king can't go anywhere. Easy. Next. Oh. So I think this is quite a little bit tricky because queen and rook are far apart. So first thing you want to make is, where will I checkmate the king? Do you want the king to be checkmated here or in the first rank, 8th rank, or letter A, or in letter H? I decided, I think I want the king to go up. So what will I do? Or maybe go down. So let's just do first check. Now black has an option. Does he wants to be checkmate there or checkmate down? And he's decided to go on the 3rd rank. So the queen is guarding the 4th. Nobody is attacking number 3. So is it the queen or the rook? It's the rook. Check. King can't go up, can't stay, and forced to go down in the 2nd. Now, if you want queen c2, king can't go up, can't stay in 2nd rank, so it's forced to go down in the 1st rank. Say king f1. Now, we don't want to move the queen again because it's guarding the 2nd rank. So to finish the job, it's going to be the rook's turn. Easy. Check. Another one. Now we have a pair of rooks. So rook and rook. Something you have to take notice, the rook cannot protect the rook diagonally. So for example, okay, we can do check, 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 and then checkmate. So it's similar to the queen and the rook, what we're doing. But the only problem here is, okay, I think it's almost the same. So you see, it's just the same. What about the rook are apart? First thing you want to do is boundary. Make a plan. Where do you want the rook to be checkmated? And here, he decided the king should go up. So we don't want the king to go down in number 4. So it's either rook a4 or rook h4. And here, white decided rook h4. He can still stay in the 5th rank. Okay, for example, king f5. And then rook goes on a5. Now, this is the problem. King g6. So the king on g6 is not allowing the rook to go. I mean, the rook, of course, can go on h6. But the problem is, if you play rook h6, then the king can capture. So you have to be careful a little bit. You want someone to attack here on 6th rank, but you don't want to move this rook because it's doing its job, not allowing the king to go down to number 5. So, as like as your car or any vehicle, if you cannot go here, go away and then drive it. So here, rook b4, not rook a4, because if you play rook a4, then for example, the king go here, check, and then he can go down, and then check. You see, they're not on a ladder type. It should be someone is occupying A, and someone should be occupying B, so they can have the ladder stand. So here, rook b4. Now, for example, he still don't want to go down. He's decided to stay in 6th rank. Then, again, not this rook, because this rook is guarding the 5th rank. So it's going to be this rook on number 4. Rook b6. King goes on e7. Rook is busy, like this. So this rook now is idle, doing nothing. Then we play rook a7, check. King goes down on b8, and finish the job with rook b8. Easy. Another one. Oh, we don't have one. Okay, now we have king and queen versus king. This one you have to be accurate what you're gonna do. First things first. How will you checkmate this king using a king and a queen? Earlier we have someone helping the queen. There's a rook, and also there's a pair of rook checkmating the king. But now, what about if there's only king and queen? So here you have to watch out for some draw, like stalemate, perpetual checks, and the 50 rule of the game. The 50 rule of the game is that there's no pawn movement, which obviously we don't have a pawn. And within 50 moves, with only king on the board, you should checkmate him. Okay, I will not go detailed with some technical aspect of it, but we want to focus on how to checkmate using king and queen. The king can be checkmated only in the corner of the chessboard. So it means you have to force the king to go anywhere in these corners. I mean, not really any of this A file, 8th rank, H file, and 1st rank. Any of those pairs, the king can be checkmated. Okay, taking a lot of time here. Okay, someone help me, please. So let's do it. Watch this one. The first move here is my idea. I want the king to be checkmated somewhere here, or maybe here. So I'll put this queen on f3. It's not a check, yes, but I make the king world smaller. So here the king can't go here, here, or there. You can just have this move. So, for example, you go king e5. Now, we don't want the king to go back here in the 4th rank. So we'll put the queen, again, not a check, but queen g4. So queen g4 is not allowing the king to go back in the 4th. And, well, he can chill like this, of course. King d5, or I mean, maybe he could just go with king d6. But again, with king d6, we don't want the king to be in the 5th. Then we can play queen f5. And for example, okay, now it's smaller, right? King can go back to number 5, can't go here. So what if the king goes on c6? He didn't go down. Next thing you want to do is control the file while controlling the ranks. So queen e5. So now the king can't go out, and as you can see, the box is getting smaller. And here, for example, the king goes down on d7. The 6th rank is vacant for the queen. Where will you put your queen? Yes, queen f6. So it's like a knight movement, but it's not a knight. I mean, I'm just taking as a pattern of the knight. So here, and also that's why I'm sharing this, because we don't want to move the king immediately. And this is the goal. If the king reaches the 8th rank, next you want to do is do not allow him to escape the 8th rank and go to 7th. Now the queen on the 7th is not now giving a chance for this king to go out. So which means the king can just go here and there, back and forth. Now, after maybe king a8, the queen alone cannot checkmate the king. So the queen needs help, and that's the job of the king. Now king will just have to go here, and then checkmate on b7. Watch. Like this. I'm coming up. And now, queen b7 ends the game. So take note of the pattern. It's like a knight pattern, but you're controlling file. Okay, let's have another example here. Let's try to put this king to go down in the first. Queen f6, king goes on e4, queen g5. Yeah, making him a little bit messier. I mean, like he had just have little squares to go. If king goes on d3, how will you control fourth and f? Queen f4. If king goes down on e2, queen g3. Now king d2, for example, just control. In this way, you will avoid having a chance. Now the king is on a subswang position here. You can't go here, you can go there, here, here. And just forced to do one move, which is king d1. Be careful. We don't want to play king b2 or king b1 because it's going to be a stalemate. Stalemate means the king is not on check and can't go anywhere. So here, after king d1, queen f2 first, imprisoning this king. So after king goes on c1, next thing you want to do is you want to put this king in the front of his king. King a2 can go back on d1, king b3, and then after king c1, ends the game with queen c2. Check. Got it? Just always remember, control control the rank and control the file, like a knight. King goes here, anywhere, just something like this. Easy. You have to practice this at home. Even if you're alone, you can do this in practice. Queen and king. Now let's go with a little bit harder. King versus a rook. Same principle. We will checkmate the king somewhere or anywhere in the corner of this board. Now again, first thing you want to do is boundary. Boundary means the king can't go step in the fourth rank. He can chase you. Unlike with the queen, the rook needs an immediate help with the king. So you need to put the king in action. King b2. If it goes king g5, you don't want to move this rook along in h file. You want to stay in the fourth rank. After rook on a4, maybe just stay in the fifth. King c3. If you go king e5, now you don't want to block this path of the rook, because if you play king c4 and now the king is blocking the path of the fourth rank by the rook, so king can just go on e4 and it's gonna be messy. I mean, there's a lot of king movement. Again, we need to checkmate the king in less than 50 moves. So here, we don't want to block, just king d3. And what we want now is, we want this king to be in front of our king. Again, we want this king to be in front of our king. Why? For example, if king goes on d5, you can have this kind of check on a5. Rook on a5 is not allowing the king to go anywhere in the fourth because he's front of the king. He cannot stay in the fifth rank because it's being under attack by the rook. So what if the king goes on e6? Again, you don't want to put this king in front of the king because if you do so, the king can flee. And if you chase him, he will just do something like this. So, if you don't want to chase the king, let him be in front of you. King d4. And again, if he goes on king d6, check on e6. Cannot go down because king in front of the king. Can stay in number 6 and maybe probably or should be go down to number 7. What if the king goes on f6? Then you chase him. You chase him with the fourth, right? I mean king e4. If he goes here, rook a6 check. So he will not go in front of you. He will escape. If for example, you go on the 7th rank, you want to guard the 6th rank, you just play rook a6. But what if he played king g6? He wants to be chased. Then just play king f4, king h6, and now king g4. If the king goes on g6, we give him a check because now he's in front of our king. If he goes down, for example, on h7, just play rook a6, not allowing him to go back to number 6 and force maybe to go here on g7. You don't want to go on g5 because it's breaking the rule. Do not go in front of the king. Let the king be in front of you. So here, king f5. So if he goes here, what we want, that's what we want in front of the king. So he's forced to go down. If he decided like he wants to run a little bit, king g5. And now if he goes in front of you, rook a7. Maybe he could go, I don't know, maybe f8. Now, king g6. If he goes on g8, rook a8 will give him a checkmate. Because he can't stay in number 8 or in the 8th rank and he can't go in the 7th rank. But what if he runs king e8? Then again, you chase him. You run, chase him. Come on, go in front of me. King c8, king d6. And now this is very tricky. King d8 is attacking the rook on e7. You don't want to go and let him escape the 7th rank reason. So just stay in the 7th rank. Like this, just go somewhere forward. And here, if he goes here, then you're just gonna go on king c6 and knight this. Or after rook goes here, he can go on c8. I want to say something like, how to say this? Waiting move. Waiting move is just moving this rook just one square, any in the 7th rank. In this position, for example, rook g7. So it have the same position like we had, because if you move the king in front of the king, then you're just gonna go out. Again, you're gonna chase, and then it's gonna be a draw zone if you do like this. So just play one square or one move with the rook, and now he's back in trouble. If he goes in front of your king, it's a checkmate. Or if he goes on b8, chase. If you go in front, checkmate. If you go on e8, king b6, and black now has no good move. Can't go on a7 and can't go on b7 and forced to go on b8. After king b8, checkmate on g8. By the way, hard. We have to practice. Let's see if we have another one. Yes. Okay, let's make this very quick. First, if you want, you can do a check, or you can just play rook c8. Even rook b8 is fine. You can go anywhere. At least your rook is activated already. So here, for example, rook c8. So very straightforward. You want to checkmate the king somewhere here in the h file. Okay, rook c8, king d5. So he's coming after your rook. Your king is still here in the corner. Activate him. King goes up. King b3. Now he is attacking your rook. What you gonna do? Transfer. Transfer very far. Rook c1. King b6. King b4. And now we have the pattern. But we don't want him, we don't want to be in front of him. We want him to be in front of us. So, waiting move. Rook c2. Just one move. If he goes in front of you, check. Then, he will play something like king e3. Again, your rook is under attack by the king. Transfer. Or, if, for example, he goes here, do not go in front of the king. So what you're going to do? King c5. Now, if he goes in front of you like this, check. Same, the king can step in letter D or D file, cannot stay in letter E or E file, forced to go somewhere in F. F4, F5, and F6. Okay, let's go, for example, in F5. Then, let's do the king d6. If he goes here, and then we have another check. King g7, attacking your rook. Just transfer your rook far. And for example, he go king g6. Do not go in front of it. King e5. If he decided, yeah, I learned something. So he just go on king g7. Chase. Come on, go in front of me. And he's like, no, king g8, king g7, and now it's either he goes in front of you or he goes down in the last one, the last one. Let's pretend that he goes in the last. The rook now is guarding nobody because, again, king just move one, so transfer to somewhere useful. King g1, rook g1. If king goes on h6, do not go in front of him. Take one square. Goes like this. I'm coming. He goes here. Yoo-hoo! Yep, king f4. And now he played king h2, attacking your rook. So what will you do? Transfer or. Now, if he goes here, you don't want to be in front of him. We want him to go in front of us. So what will you do? Waiting move. Just one move. Now, back to the ball game. If king goes up, checkmate. So if he goes down, chase him. Come on. If he goes here, again, checkmate. If he goes down, king f2. And he's forced now to be checkmated. After king h2, rook h7, attacking the king, and the king can't go on the g file as the king on f2 is not allowed. So I hope you learned something from me today. As I'm saying, you have to practice this at home, play chess, and stay safe. Bye, guys.